Somewhere in the ocean, off the coast of West Africa, there is a point where the entire map of the world begins. It's the spot where the two great lines humans drew across the planet finally cross at nothing. 0 degrees one way, 0 degrees the other. The exact origin of the global grid, the single point that every coordinate, every GPS pin, every map ever made is secretly measured from. And the country sitting closest to that point, the nation parked right at the center of the world's map, is at the 2026 World Cup. Ghana, the team from 0-0, and almost nothing about how that happened makes any sense. Let me show you. Start with what that point actually is. To map the Earth, we draw two imaginary lines. One is the equator, 0 degrees latitude, the belt around the planet's middle. The other is the Prime Meridian, 0 degrees longitude, running pole to pole. Every location on Earth is described by how far it sits from those two lines. And where the two lines themselves cross, both readings fall to 0 at once. 0 north, 0 east. 0, 0. The origin of everything. So where is this all-important point? The anchor of every map on the planet. You'd expect something grand. A landmark. A monument. It's open ocean. The point sits in the Gulf of Guinea, around 600 kilometers off the coast of Ghana, over water nearly 5 kilometers deep. There's nothing there at all, just waves, and for years, a single lonely weather buoy bobbing at the spot. The most important coordinate on Earth is an empty patch of sea in Ghana's front yard, and of every nation on the planet, Ghana is the closest one to it. But here's where it gets strange, because one of those two lines is real, and the other one is completely made up. The equator is genuine. The Earth itself draws it. It's the line exactly halfway between the poles, where the spinning planet bulges widest. Nature put it there, and it would be there whether humans existed or not. The Prime Meridian is a different story. There is no natural 0 for longitude, no line the Earth prefers. Someone had to simply choose one. And in 1884, a room full of delegates gathered in Washington and voted on where the center of the world's measurements would be. They picked a line running through a single old telescope at the Royal Observatory in Greenwich, a borough of London. The French were so offended that their own Paris meridian lost that they refused to vote at all. So the 0 of the entire planet was decided by committee, and the line they drew runs straight down out of London, across Europe and the Sahara, and slices right through Ghana before heading out to sea. Ghana had no say in any of it. At the time, it wasn't even Ghana. It was a British colony called the Gold Coast. And to this day, the country still keeps the clock named after that London line, Greenwich Mean Time, a tropical West African nation running its entire life on London's 0 hour. And Ghana doesn't just brush against that line, it owns it more than almost anywhere. Of all the world's capital cities, Accra sits closest to 0 longitude, barely 20 kilometers to the west of it. The meridian runs down through the country and leaves the African mainland right at Tema, Ghana's largest port, just east of the capital. After that, there is nothing but open water all the way down to 0, 0. Ghana is quite literally the last land the line touches before the map runs out. And then the digital age did something even stranger to that empty point in the sea. In a world of GPS and online maps, computers are constantly handling locations. But every so often, a location goes wrong. A broken address, a missing coordinate, a glitch in the data. And when that happens, the computer often doesn't flag an error. It quietly drops the point to its default. 0, 0. So from all over the planet, millions of lost, corrupted, phantom data points come raining down onto that one empty patch of ocean off Ghana. Mapmakers gave it a name. They call it Null Island, an island that does not exist, the place where bad data goes to live. People have given this non-existent island a flag, a fake history, even a national motto as a kind of inside joke. And because so much broken data lands there, Null Island has been called one of the most visited places on Earth that was never real in the first place. A ghost capital built entirely out of the internet's mistakes, floating just offshore from a country that never asked to host it. And if the geography is confused, wait until you hear about the name. The country we call Ghana adopted that name in 1957, the year it became the first nation in sub-Saharan Africa to throw off colonial rule and win its independence, a moment that electrified the entire continent. To mark it, the new country reached back into history and named itself after the great medieval Ghana Empire, a fabled, gold-rich kingdom remembered across Africa for its power and wealth. There's just one problem. That empire wasn't here. The original Ghana sat roughly 1,000 kilometers to the northwest in the dry lands of what is now Mali and Mauritania, and shared no territory whatsoever with the modern country. Independent Ghana deliberately borrowed the name of a glorious African past that had unfolded somewhere else entirely. A proud act of identity, claiming an old empire's greatness to launch a brand new nation. A country sitting at the 0 point of the world's map, named after a kingdom that was never anywhere near it. So when the Black Stars walk out at the 2026 World Cup, look at where they come from. The closest nation on Earth to 0, the origin of every map ever drawn. A country sitting on a zero line chosen by a committee in London, still keeping London's zero time, with a phantom island of the internet's broken data drifting in the sea off its coast, carrying the borrowed name of an empire that lived 1,000 kilometers away. These are the same Black Stars who, back in 2010, came within a single kicked ball of making history. One penalty away from becoming the first African team ever to reach a World Cup semifinal before the ball struck the crossbar and the dream slipped away. A team that has spent years chasing a place it can almost touch. And here's the final perfect twist, one of timing. In this very tournament, Ghana's group stage opponents include England. Think about that. The team from 0, lining up against the one country on Earth that decided where 0 would be. The nation parked at the center of the map, facing the people who drew it. Ghana makes no sense. And maybe the country sitting exactly where the whole map begins is the perfect place for the map to stop making sense at all.